Can you believe there is a country where $1 million still may not be enough to make you feel rich? That place is Monaco, a tiny land on the southern coast of France, yet one of the most expensive and hardest places to enter on Earth. Here, 1/3 of the residents are millionaires. Supercars appear on the streets like ordinary vehicles, and real estate is so expensive that $1 million may sometimes only buy a small room about the size of a parking space. But strangely, Monaco citizens are banned from gambling inside the very casino that once saved the fate of the country. Before we begin, please subscribe to the channel, like this video, and comment below whether you would want to live in Monaco or not. Now, let us step into Monaco, a place where even the rich can still feel as if they are standing outside the door of the ultra-rich. Number 15. The tiny country with the highest concentration of wealthy people in the world. Located beside the southern coast of France, Monaco is the second smallest country in the world, after Vatican City. Its territory is even smaller than Central Park in New York, yet around 38,000 people live on this narrow strip of land. Its population density reaches about 19,000 people per square kilometer, the highest in the world for a sovereign country. What makes Monaco especially unusual is that its residents are far from ordinary. 1 in every 3 people is a millionaire, which means more than 12,000 people. The average net worth of each resident is over $20 million. Its GDP per capita ranks among the highest in the world, while the official poverty rate is almost 0. But behind this image of extreme wealth, there is a surprising detail. On the Forbes Billionaires list in 2026, Monaco has only 2 names. The richest person is Stefano Pessina, connected to Walgreens Boots Alliance, with a fortune of about $60 billion. On paper, that number may not seem very large, but when compared with its population, Monaco still has one of the highest billionaire densities in the world. Many great fortunes here exist quietly. In Monaco, wealth does not need to show itself loudly. To truly feel that, numbers are not enough. You have to walk through the streets of Monaco, where luxury appears in every view. Number 14. The city of supercars, yachts, and strange silence. In many cities around the world, when a single Ferrari appears, people on the street may stop just to look at it. But in Monaco, even Ferrari has to sit still in traffic. On this land of only about 2 square kilometers, more than 1,200 high-performance cars are registered. The number of cars is almost equal to the number of residents, and the luxury car density per person ranks among the highest in the world. In front of the Monte Carlo casino, people with cameras often gather to photograph the supercars parked there. The entire country has only about 100 taxis, but many of them are Mercedes, Tesla, or even more premium models. Outside Port Hercule, the yachts lined up along the water are not just toys for the rich. They are like floating meeting rooms, where contracts are discussed, relationships are built, and sometimes even marriages begin with a party by the harbor. Every September, the Monaco Yacht Show attracts about 120 large yachts and more than 500 exhibitors. At that moment, another wealthy city seems to rise directly on the surface of the sea. What feels strange is that even though luxury cars appear everywhere, Monaco remains unbelievably quiet. Honking inside urban areas is strictly limited, noise is tightly controlled, and in the middle of a place filled with cars, you can still hear the sound of your own footsteps. Number 13. When elegance becomes the language of Monaco's wealthy elite. While Monaco's supercars display wealth in a very direct way, women here are known for a much more discreet kind of elegance. They do not need large logos, glittering details, or outfits that try too hard to prove status. The style that represents Monaco is quiet luxury, silent extravagance. It may be a Loro Piana sweater, A Hermes leather bag, monochrome colors, and very subtle lines. In a place where almost everyone is considered wealthy, elegance is often expressed only through a whisper. Monaco is also a place where women have one of the highest life expectancies in the world. According to the 2026 census, the country has 19,730 women and 19,027 men. The average life expectancy is about 86 years, while women can live beyond 90 years. In a country with fewer than 39,000 people, about 60 residents have reached 100 years old. Wealth brings top-level health care, while the Mediterranean climate makes daily life more comfortable. Over many decades, Monaco's image has been shaped by Grace Kelly, the Hollywood star who became a princess, and Princess Charlene, a former Olympic athlete who runs a foundation that protects children from drowning. Here, glamour goes hand in hand with responsibility and a rare sense of safety. Number 12. When Monaco wakes up after sunset. When the sun sinks behind the mountains, daytime Monaco gives way to another face. During the Grand Prix, nights here revolve around champagne, VIP seats, and parties where the entrance ticket alone is enough to shock many people. At Amber Lounge, admission can range from 600 to 800 euros. A bottle of champagne can sometimes reach 20,000 euros, while the most premium diamond table can climb to 45,000 euros for one night, including caviar, private service, and your name at the entrance. Behind the casino is Jimmy's, where world-class artists perform, and Formula One drivers come after the race to celebrate or to forget a defeat. Out by the harbor, yachts turn into floating clubs. Music rises from the decks, business conversations slip between songs, and even nightlife has its own hierarchy. Luxury cars may attract attention, but the position of a yacht decides who gets invited into a private gathering. And yet, when there is no major event, Monaco becomes surprisingly quiet. Music rarely spills into the streets. Restaurants close early, and the real nightlife happens behind closed doors, on guest lists that outsiders almost never see. If you are still watching at this point, you probably enjoy strange travel stories just like we do. So before we continue, please support the channel by subscribing. It helps our videos reach more people, and it also lets the whole team know that journeys like this are truly worth continuing. Thank you very much. Now, let us return to Monaco. Number 11. Monaco real estate and the price of scarcity. Bring $1 million, a symbol of success in many places, into Monaco's real estate market. In New York, that amount can buy 34 square meters of luxury housing. In Tokyo, it is about 58 square meters. But in Monaco, it drops to only around 19 square meters. In many cities, $1 million can buy a future. Here, it is only enough for a small space almost the size of a bathroom in a sea view apartment. Housing prices here are unforgiving as well. In 2024, resale homes cost about 52,000 euros per square meter. Over 10 years, the average price of newly built homes rose by more than 44%, reaching 36.4 million euros. In just 1 year, 57 homes were sold for more than 20 million euros, including 7 that exceeded 100 million euros. Right in the heart of Monaco, Avenue Princesse Grace is considered one of the most expensive streets in the world, with some areas reaching from $100,000 to $180,000 per square meter. The cost of living also rises with housing prices. Including rent, life here can be many times more expensive than in the United States. Monaco has almost no low-budget option. So why do people pay such enormous amounts for a country of only 2 square kilometers? Number 10. Monaco, the tax-free machine for the ultra-rich. Since 1869, Monaco has not collected income tax from its residents. Not only that, the country also has no wealth tax, no property tax, and no capital gains tax. For more than 150 years, the promise has been very clear. If you bring your fortune here, the state will not touch it. But tax exemption is only the first door. What Monaco truly sells is not just housing, yacht berths, or a prestigious address. This country sells safety, privacy, stability, and even the feeling of crossing a boundary that not everyone has the right to cross. The wealthy come here to buy homes, dock yachts, host parties, hire staff, and manage their assets. All of those activities become Monaco's economy. Domestic banks manage more than 100 billion euros in assets, about 7% of which belongs to people who do not live here. Major events also help Monaco promote itself to the world. Just 4 days of the Grand Prix were once estimated to create about 90 million euros in economic value. Today, the main source of revenue is no longer the casino, but value-added tax on the enormous spending of the wealthy. In 2023, Monaco collected about 2.2 billion euros and created a surplus of about 126 million euros. But this golden system was not born inside a meeting room. It began with a crisis. Number 9. The gamble that saved Monaco. In 1848, Monaco was almost at risk of disappearing. Menton and Roquebrune broke away, taking with them about 95% of the territory, along with the revenue from lemons and olives. The Grimaldi family was left with only a rocky coastal strip with almost no income, pushing this tiny country close to bankruptcy. The person who found a way out was Princess Caroline, the wife of Prince Florestan. While gambling was banned across much of Europe, she realized that Monaco could become a rare destination for the aristocracy. After years of persuasion, she invited François Blanc, the casino king of Bad Homburg, to Monaco. In 1863, the Monte Carlo casino opened with capital of 15 million francs, and that gamble succeeded beyond imagination. By 1869, casino revenue had become so large that Prince Charles III abolished income tax for all residents. From that point on, Monaco became a tax haven, while Monte Carlo means Charles Mountain. Then came the legend of Charles Wells in 1891, when he won 23 out of 30 bets on red. Later, Wells was imprisoned for fraud and died penniless in Paris. But the casino survived. Today, gambling accounts for less than 5% of the economy, but it once gave Monaco enough time to build a new model of wealth. Number 8. From a disguised monk to Monaco's oldest ruling dynasty. On January 4, 1297, Francesco Grimaldi, a warrior from Genoa, disguised himself as a Franciscan monk and knocked on the gate of Monaco's fortress. Known by the nickname the Cunning One, he asked to stay there for the night. When the guards opened the gate, his followers rushed in and captured the fortress before morning. To this day, Monaco's coat of arms still shows 2 monks holding swords, as a reminder of the trick that began this dynasty. From that night, the Grimaldi family became one of the longest ruling families in Europe. The current head of state is Prince Albert II. Monaco remains a constitutional monarchy with many ancient marks still visible. The prince appoints the government, while legislative power is shared with the National Council, which has 24 members. For wealthy people looking for a place to live, more than 700 years of stability under the same family is not just history. It feels like a guarantee. But behind that stability lies a dark legend. People say that a woman once harmed by the Grimaldi family cursed the dynasty, saying it would never have complete happiness in marriage. It is only a legend, but in 1982, When Princess Grace had an accident on the cliffside road, that curse was mentioned again. And it was her wedding in 1956 that turned Monaco into a glittering address in the eyes of the world. Number 7. Grace Kelly's wedding and the race that made Monaco famous. Before Monaco became a global symbol of luxury, it was still fairly unfamiliar to much of the world. What changed everything was not a new building, but a wedding. On April 19, 1956, Grace Kelly, the famous Hollywood movie star, married Prince Rainier at Monaco Cathedral. More than 30 million people watched the ceremony on television, and about 400 reporters followed the bride on her journey across the Atlantic. Every camera lens at that time became free publicity for this tiny country. From that moment, Monaco was no longer just a wealthy place. It became a dream. By 1961, the country's annual revenue was estimated at about $128 million, an increase of about 400% in 10 years. If the casino gave Monaco money, Grace Kelly made the whole world want to look at Monaco. Then speed continued to complete that image. Since 1929, the Monaco Grand Prix has turned the streets into a racetrack, sending Formula One cars racing past the harbor, through the tunnel, and close to the walls of residential buildings. When the race takes place, balconies, rooftops, and yacht decks with good views all become valuable assets. In a single weekend, royalty, speed, and money turn Monaco into one of the most luxurious stages in the world. Number 6. When millionaires also feel small in Monaco. The strange thing about Monaco is that wealth does not disappear, but the feeling of being wealthy can fade very quickly. In many places around the world, becoming a millionaire can be a lifelong milestone. But here, it feels more like the starting point. When everyone around you owns a sea view apartment, a private yacht, family assets, and investments spread across the world, a number that once made others admire you suddenly feels small. The real pressure is not only in the price, but in the fact that you are always standing next to someone far richer than you.
Someone may enter the market with $30 million, yet still be outmatched by someone with $300 million. Someone may have enough money to buy a home in most major cities, but in Monaco, they still have to wait for an opportunity like everyone else. Money here does not open every door at once. It only brings you closer to another door, narrower and harder to pass through. In psychology, this feeling is called relative deprivation. People rarely compare themselves with the entire world. They compare themselves with the person living next door, the person whose yacht is docked in a better position, who owns a higher apartment, or who has a helicopter sitting right on the deck. And in Monaco, even inside the world of the chosen, there is still a smaller circle, more private, more closed, and even farther out of reach. Number 5. Monaco, the country with no airport, but one of the most luxurious entrances. In the middle of this paradise for the ultra-rich, Monaco has a very strange paradox. You may own one of the most expensive private jets in the world, but you still cannot land directly inside this country. The reason is simple. Monaco has no airport. With an area of only about 2 square kilometers, this land is far too small to build a real runway. If an airport were built here, it would either have to stretch straight out into the sea or cut across some of the most expensive areas in the country. But that absence turns the way people enter Monaco into a luxury experience of its own. Most journeys begin at Nice Airport in France. From there, you can sit in the back of a Rolls-Royce, follow the coastal road for about 30 minutes, and watch the Mediterranean open up beside the window. Or you can choose a more dramatic way to reach Monaco, step onto a private helicopter. After only about 7 minutes flying above the blue sea, Monaco appears below like a small stage placed between the mountains and the ocean. Here, the lack of an airport is not exactly an inconvenience.
It feels more like an invisible filter, making even the way you arrive in this country become a statement about status, money, and the privilege of entering a world that is not meant for the majority. Number 4. Monaco, where soldiers with trumpets stand out. More than soldiers with guns. If Monaco were ever threatened one day, the first thing people might think of would probably not be tanks or artillery, but the sound of trumpets rising in front of the palace. This ultra-rich country has one of the strangest armed forces in the world, where the military is so small that it feels almost symbolic. The entire official military force has only about 124 people. If they were all gathered inside a medium-sized concert hall, they would not even fill the seats. What makes it especially unusual is that the most famous unit in the royal military is not a combat force, but a band made up of 26 soldiers. Their familiar duties are marching, performing at ceremonies, and helping create a formal image in front of the Prince's Palace of Monaco. Meanwhile, the country's police force is much larger than its military, with more than 500 people responsible for maintaining order, controlling the streets, and handling the everyday problems of a place filled with supercars. In Monaco, the biggest concern is not war, but security, traffic jams, and order on narrow streets. This country does not need a powerful army to protect itself, because it has a defense treaty with France. Monaco's military therefore becomes another symbol of the country. Small, formal, and unbelievably different. Number 3. Monaco's special national day and a royal tribute. In many countries, National Day is a fixed date, connected to independence, victory, or a major historical event. But in Monaco, this tradition has a very distinctive character. For many centuries, the principality's most important celebration was known as the Prince's Day, and the date depended on the patron saint's feast day of the ruling prince. This means that when a new prince came to the throne, the entire country could also change its celebration date according to the name of that monarch. But in 2005, Prince Albert II chose a different path. According to tradition, he could have moved the celebration to a day linked to the name Albert. Yet, he decided to keep Monaco's National Day on November 19th, the same date once chosen by his father, Prince Rainier III. It was not only a ceremonial decision, but also a tribute to the father who helped transform Monaco from a small coastal land into a global symbol of luxury. Since then, November 19th every year has been more than an occasion for parades, flags, and royal ceremonies. It has also become a moment that reminds people that behind the Grimaldi Palace, behind the wealth and the formal rituals, there is still a very human story about family memory, gratitude, and the continuation of a dynasty. Number 2. The Oceanographic Museum, a cliff of knowledge in luxurious Monaco. If you think Monaco is only about glittering casinos, supercars, and yachts, the Oceanographic Museum of Monaco reveals a very different face of this country. The building stands dramatically on the cliff of Le Rocher, looking straight down at the Mediterranean, like a stone palace placed between land and sea. With its grand neo-Baroque style, the building is impressive not only because of its historic beauty, but also because of the daring way it clings to the steep cliffside. It took 11 years and more than 100,000 tons of stone to complete this structure. But the true soul of this place is tied to Jacques Cousteau, the famous ocean explorer known for his red wool hat. From 1957 to 1988, he directed the museum and transformed it from an exhibition space into an influential center for marine research, education, and conservation. Under Cousteau's influence, the specimens, aquariums, and exhibition rooms did not only tell stories about marine life. They also reminded people that the ocean is not something to be conquered. In the middle of a Monaco famous for money and luxury, This museum offers a different kind of value: knowledge, respect for the sea, and the belief that this tiny country can still leave a major mark on ocean science. Number 1. Monaco, the seaside country that drinks water from the mountains. Looking at Monaco's position right beside the Mediterranean, many people may think this principality uses modern desalination plants to turn seawater into drinking water. But the reality is different. Monaco does not rely on seawater to quench its thirst. The water that flows through its luxurious apartments, elegant hotels, and expensive residences comes from a far more refined system. A significant part of Monaco's clean water is natural mineral water, drawn from deep underground springs beneath the rock mass of La Roche. The rest is brought in from the pure water sources of the French Alps, through a tightly controlled pipeline system. In other words, the people of Monaco live beside the sea, but drink water that comes from the heart of the mountains and from distant snow-covered peaks. However, the sea still plays a very important role. Monaco does not use seawater for drinking, but it does use it to operate heating and cooling systems for many buildings. Through seawater heat pump technology, the Mediterranean becomes part of the country's energy infrastructure. In Monaco, even water reflects the way this country operates: quiet, understated, and carefully calculated to serve a luxurious lifestyle with precision in every detail. Monaco is not just a tiny country on the edge of the Mediterranean. It is a world built on scarcity, safety, and doors that not everyone is allowed to walk through. Here, supercars can become an ordinary sight on the street. Yachts can become places where major deals are signed, and a residential address can sometimes be worth more than a large home somewhere else. But after all of that, Monaco also shows us something very strange. When wealth becomes the common standard, even people with a great deal of money can still feel as if they do not truly belong here. If you found today's journey interesting, please subscribe to the channel, like this video, and comment below whether you think Monaco is a paradise for the rich or a golden cage too expensive to enter.